Ciao, today I will be roasting some chestnuts in the air fryer. There are three key considerations when you're doing chestnuts. One is the age of the chestnut. The second consideration, and arguably the most important, is the cut of the chestnut. And the third one is how you cook them and how long you cook them for. Let's talk about the age first. So these are chestnuts which I bought yesterday from the supermarket. So although they are a day old in my house, I do not know whether they were picked, so I can imagine them being maybe a week old. So when you buy them, make sure that you roast them as soon as you get them, maybe 1 to 2 days afterwards, because otherwise they will dry. So if you leave them for say a week to just do their own thing, they'll dry. And if that is the case, what you need to do, you need to cut them first, then put them in water for a good half an hour, and then you can go to stage 2. The reason why the cut is important is because unless you do a nice and long cut, they will not open properly. And I'll show you what to do. Generally you have a flat side and a round side. So go as far as you can at the base here, and very gently cut in approximately 1 millimeter. Be very careful with your hands, of course, all the way. And you end up with a chestnut which has got a lovely big smile.
But nothing on the back, no?
Nothing on the back. Occasionally you get chestnuts which have got flat sides in both cases. It doesn't matter, just go on one of them, but make sure that the cut starts as far away from the top and go all the way like this. In terms of depth, about 1 millimeter, 1.5 millimeters, that'll be fine. You don't need to cut them in half. I've been using this cheese knife which has got little teeth, but also you can use a steak knife, one of those that I'm sure you'll have in your drawer. And I'll show you that it's also very easy, but a little bit more careful because clearly they're a little rougher. So same again, but be a little bit more careful and they'll do the job as well. Occasionally, especially if you are picking chestnuts in the wild, I bought mine, you get little holes like this. That means that there is a little guest in there. So there's no point doing them because they're not going to be any good. So you might just as well throw it away, put it back into the nature. I'm nearly there. These chestnuts, as I mentioned, they're purchased. They're a little bit tougher than what they would be if you were to pick them in nature. So remember, the fresher, the easier to cut. And my air fryer tray is ready. Do ensure that you do not overcrowd it. The heat in the air fryers comes from the top, a bit like a powerful hairdryer, and that will be blowing it down. And if you've got too many in, top ones will cook, but the bottom ones won't. So generally, always, whenever you cook on air fryers, make sure that you do not overcrowd it. Turn the air fryer on, temperature 200, and I'll put mine on for 25 minutes. If you were to do them in the oven, put them in a tray, make sure that they are not overcrowding the tray either, and the temperature, same 200, but add a further 15 minutes. So that would be 40 minutes. Also in my case, as I purchased my chestnuts, they're all the same size. But if you were to collect them in the wild, you might find that some are smaller and some are bigger, in which case do the bigger ones first, and then after 10 minutes you add the smaller ones, so that by the time they're all cooked, they cook at the same time. And I'll turn this on, and after 5 minutes I'll give them a toss, and then I'll do that 2 or 3 times until they're cooked. 7 minutes in, and let's take a look. See, they are already opening up, and you can see that it's important to cut them nice and wide, and perfect. I'll just give them a little toss. Another way to store your chestnuts, by the way, is by drying them, and you can dry them by leaving them, but need to be in a dry place. Don't leave them in your kitchen, maybe in a boiler cupboard or an airing cupboard. And once they're totally dry, they will become really hard inside. And then if you want to use them, cut them again, just like I've shown you, but be very careful because once they're dry, they're tougher to cut, so be careful with your fingers. And put them in water to soak, but more than half an hour, about 4 to 5 hours, a bit like if you were soaking beans. And then you can carry on. And perfectly to do like that, but we did actually buy some before Christmas, and we left ours in the kitchen for about a month, and they actually did go moldy, so they were only good for the worms. So that's another option. Anyway, I'll put them in, give the odd toss, and then I'll see you in a few minutes. And they're done. Look how wonderful they look. They are lovely and brown, obviously very hot. I'll put a little piece of kitchen paper on top, and I will leave them for about 5 minutes. And the paper will trap the condensation and the moisture will help the skin peeling off when we eat them later. So I'll see you in 5. Look how easy it is to remove the skin now that they have cooled down a little, and they are lovely and warm. Crunchy as well. I would advise to eat them when they're warm. They're delicious. But you can eat them cold as well, especially on a day like this. It's cold outside and they're delicious. Also, you can sprinkle a little salt if you fancy a little bit more flavor. I won't. They're lovely as they are. But once they cool down, if you want, you can crumble them up and put them on food like salad, for example. That is a lovely addition, a bit like you would do with nuts maybe and seeds. My daughter Gabriella, she is a pescatarian, and pescatarian, by the way, is you eat fish but you do not eat meat, in case you don't know. And she uses them in a lot of her dishes. She sprinkles them on pasta even sometimes, so very versatile. Anyway, I'll carry on eating. See you later. Enjoy your chestnuts if you make them. As I said, you can also do them in the oven, but a little bit longer. Ciao, ciao. Thank you for watching.